All right, here we are back, the Intelligent Human Leadership Podcast. Welcome back, everybody. I just got back from a almost week long annual meeting. For those of you that may not have caught past episodes, I'm also a member of the Wildlife Society. I've been a lifelong lover of nature and the outdoors. Have had been part of environmental consulting for 25 plus years, and there was a great talk, presentation, what you name it here. Return to Natural History. This is actually the 72nd annual meeting of this Western section, which covers California, Hawaii, and Nevada. And it got me thinking how important it is do what I call a weekly return and report. Maybe this is new for some of you listening in, but this is something that I live by week in and week out. There's many ways that you can go about this, but I found it to be a very powerful way to be an intelligent human leader, to be clued in to what's working, what's not working, and to have accountability. And so, this whole episode's theme today is really about reflection. It's looking back and taking accountability for where you were at. What did you get done? What you didn't done? And what's your actions? What's your outcome going forward here? Um, I first learned this in Wake Up Warrior, working with other men that were really achieving quite a lot. And it inspired me to see, like, I want to achieve more. I want to make better progress in my journey, not just in business, but other areas of my life too. I look holistically. You may have heard me talk about the domains of not only business, but my physical body, my spiritual being, and looking at how I'm taking care of my body. So in my balance is my relationship. So body, being, business, balance, all of those things, those four domains, and how am I showing up? And I just got off a call with another gentleman. We're talking about balance. We're talking about marriage. We're talking about relationships and giving account for where we're at on things. And so um, this isn't about pretending. This isn't about everything is perfect or we got it all together. It's owning the process. It's adjusting when things are necessary and committed to growth. It's committed and disciplined, and it's about building resilience and mastery. These are really important tools and skills to develop. And we don't just get them right from the get go. I wish we did, but this is something I've worked at and I continue to work at because I know I can become a better at it. I can master it, I can greater mastery, greater resilience. And so when I say return and report, you guys have heard me talk about my full focus planner here. This is another tool that I use, right, to look at how am I doing, what's working, what's not working. And again, it's not about perfection here because the reality is you're going to mess up, you're going to miss a week, you're going to miss a day, you're going to miss something. But the the point here is that we want to keep you moving forward and not regressing, not getting sidelined. And so I'm just going to give you some simple tools in this episode. Like I said, I can't solve all your problems on an episode. I won't ever pretend to do that here on the podcast. But what I do provide you is tools and resources that you can start to learn and adapt, become wise in your adaptation and implementation of them, and then become that more intelligent human leader. And for those of you that need a community, that want a community to go further, there is a place for you with Steward Your Business and what I offer in my coaching programs and space there. But nonetheless, the podcast here is to help you, the listener, to take action today. And so, what I want you to think about, as you listen to this episode this week, is think about what's got you fired up. What has been like, man, I'm so glad I got that knocked out. I'm so glad I achieved that milestone or that task, whatever that is for you. What is it? What was working? Start there. Start what was working. What was this like? Man, I nailed it. I hit it out of the park. Um, it all came together the way I was really hoping and envisioning and planning, putting all this effort. Um, when we think about that, that's a great way to start from a positive, a place we're lifting up. I want you to always start from that place if you can. You could find something that worked. Because on the flip side of that coin, and we talk about the things that didn't work. Uh, for those of you that want to use more extreme language, with that is effed up or just really been a mess. So fired up things are working well, but things that are just have gone off the tracks, that didn't work. Right? It's just a mess. Um, it's it's not the way we expected it, right? The ball was dropped, something got missed. And so recognize that too, you know, what's not working, and what is working. Um, because what we can do from those two components, those two elements of the coin, if you will, is take a lesson learned from what is working well, reinforce that, keep doing that. If that has worked well for you, let's double down on it. On the same token, if flip it around and look at the experience of what didn't work, and why didn't it work, and find a lesson in that or revelation. I use the stack tool as one of the tools that I have in my Wake Up Warrior app. If anybody wants access to that, happily share it with you. But the point is, I want help you get and distill it down to lessons learned. Maybe you have more than one lesson. These could be super powerful and like distilled, you know, you know, essence, if you will, the purity, because you've kind of, like if you've ever made orange juice where you're getting all that juice out, you're squeezing it down, getting through the things that were difficult. Um, and it can be very beneficial, and often it should be, not only for yourself, but you're able to distill that down and share with others. Here, I went through this, it really worked well, or here, this was really a mess, and here's what I learned from that. um and and then look at the problem of the week, a challenge that you're working, um in how are you facing that challenge. Remember, this is about being real. It's not about perfection. It really is progress. I had to learn that and still learn that. It is, are you making progress? Sometimes we self-sabotage ourselves because we just look at perfection. I didn't get it all right. Of course not. We don't. None of us get it all right. It's a journey of learning and development. You know, when we go through and we say, fired up, we look at things that were working well, right? What's a leadership win or a breakthrough in communication or strategy or even mindset, right? Where did you become wiser in how you're responding instead of reacting to things around you? Where did you get that moment of clarity or momentum gained? Um, and capture that, remember that, celebrate it. Um, and we all have missed opportunities. We all make bad decisions, or there's a point of misalignment, right? In this, uh, messed up portion, where we just have to recognize, you know what, execution fell down, mindset or discipline. And this is a great opportunity to say, you know what, where can I use help, or where can I have somebody come in and speak into my life? What's it costing me, this progress, or because of what I didn't do, or I did do it, it didn't get me where I wanted to be, right? Well, how's it affecting my influence or impact? I've talked about influence and impact in previous episodes, right? And here's the powerful thing: when you can get real about this and share it with somebody else. It's one thing to do it for yourself, but many times we delude ourselves, we lie to ourselves in not living authentically, or we minimize. If you can be real and raw at this, it's part of a foundational understanding of being real and raw. You can start to become relevant, and like, okay, changing this and started to be real, get to be, this relevancy of like, okay, I'm distilling it down, like I said earlier, and then get to the desired results, right? We're going to reverse engineer. So if you're not getting the results you want, we're going to back it up and get a better understanding of where you're at, what's working, what's not working. um and I mentioned earlier this lesson learned idea. What has this taught you in the area of business or leadership or life? Like I said, body, being, balance, um, business, all of those things. You know, There's a course of action that you can adjust, pivot, if you will, so that you're not making the same decision. You're not going to end up in the same place next week or the week after. You're like, you know what? I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm going to adjust here. Right. And this is where you can get feedback. And as you learn and share what's been going on, you're able to distill this down. And I really like the stack tool because this helps you go much quicker through this process, and being able to share it with others because you can literally share your thought process as you're going through this narrative. Um, and then getting down to the problem of the week. What is your biggest challenge you're facing right now? Whether it be in your leadership, your business, your life. What are the problems you're facing, or problem I should say? What's that really one problem? Trying to distill it down. We all have lots of problems, but let's distill it down. What's the biggest challenge? What's the one that, that if you don't solve this right now, it's gonna have the greatest impact um, on your life. It's gonna hold you back, know? And so start to put out options that you're considering. And here's a powerful exercise that we do in community through your business and the spaces, but we hold space for you to share your problem, or a hot seat, if you will, um, and just lay it out there. Don't defend it. Don't justify. Just put it out. Here's the challenge. Here's the problem I'm facing, right? Um, and receive feedback from others. Now this can be challenging. I've learned to lean into this discomfort, lean into this, uh, whether it be in my marriage life, in with my work, even my body. I've had a coach. I have many coaches, and you know, coaches speaking to me about, David. Look, you know, you're not meal planning. Be an example that I've struggled with. You're not meal planning, so therefore you're not eating correctly, and you're choosing, you know, poor a poor diet, and that's not going to help you. So if you eat well, it's going to help you in other domains of your life. If you plan well when you're going to eat, how you're going to eat, and this is something that I've struggled with. I have to work on and be intentional on, so that I'm not going to snacks, for example, not going to the easy stuff, to the fast food. But I'm like, you know what? No, I that is a problem, and I want to overcome it. And I'm receiving feedback on my behaviors, the way I'm showing up, so that I can be in a healthier place. Are you a person that can be coachable and humble enough to receive feedback from others on the problem you're facing? That is a powerful leader when you can come in that place, in that room, and own the challenges that you're facing in your life. You're not a victim, but you're recognizing, man, this is a challenge for me. And oftentimes it's real easy to just talk about the fired up things. That's why I say start with the fired up things. So that's the easiest way that wins, where we're doing well. But we also have to recognize, if we're always winning, I think number one, we're lying to ourselves because we're not always winning. But number two, you know, we have to look at the things that aren't working in our lives. Or, assess: are you on fire in your business? Are you doing well in sales, marketing, communication, execution, all the things I talk about in the giant flywheel, giant leadership audit, where we go through and we look at these things in business. I challenge you. There's areas that you have cracks, or there's some things that are not working as smoothly or as great as you'd like them to be. Could be like I mentioned earlier, your body. Could be you just don't have a lot of peace in your life. I had a conversation with a man last night. Recently got out of prison, had really some challenging times, but this man was very successful at one point in the world, making lots of money in the mortgage space, all for naught. He was a very unhappy person, not living in his true purpose. And so, we can deny and we can live in this place of inauthentic, and it doesn't serve us in the long run. And when you practice a return and report, addressing what worked, what didn't work, what's the problem I'm facing, what's a lesson learned through this right now, you can actually become a person that's a leader. showing other people that, you know, by having a return and report, you have a way, an operating system, if you will, a framework that's going to serve you, and not only you, but your team and those that are around you. I would challenge you, number one, to start with yourself and find a group of peers, or or those that want to go far and together. I have designed a life where I'm with men almost daily, uh, where we provide ourselves this opportunity to to check in, to share, whether it's at a meeting, whether it's doing a Voxer, leaving a WhatsApp message for each other, or whatever that might be for you, whatever means of communication. But you're intentionally showing up that way, and I want you to write down what it is for you. Share in your circle. Find one person. Hey, can we do a return and report with each other? Uh, um, I was with another colleague this morning, another Wake Up Warrior coach, where we were comparing notes and we're talking about what's working on our business, what's not working on our business, how can we improve, and we're going to meet again next week. Again, this is a way of living for me now that I won't ever go back, because I know how powerful it is. And remembering that this isn't about perfection, but it's really about staying in the game and consistently refining our process so that we can show up that most intelligent human person in leading ourselves, and then being healthy enough to lead others, lift them up, and show them a better way. Growth isn't about what happens to you. It's really about how you respond, right? We're not going to get it right every time as a leader, but as we reflect and adjust, we are able to move forward with greater confidence and clarity, affecting those in our lives. So, final thought here as we wrap up the podcast this week. I'm kind of hitting you fast and furious, but I'm passionate about this, as you guys can tell. Um, how will you show up in the coming week, knowing what you've learned from this week, right? How have you showed up? Let's take radical accountability and ownership of our lives. Each day is a gift, an opportunity. And for me, I'm sharing with you guys, I'm coming back from the Wildlife Society, had some amazing conversations. I'm following up with those folks. Lessons learned are spending a week almost once a year going to the Wildlife Society is super beneficial for me. It energizes me, it renews connections and relationships. Now, challenging things with that don't always work is I'm not able to do some follow up that I need, and I'm working on some systems and processes that need to be fixed in order for me to do that. Um, and Staying engaged and working on sales and marketing, all the things that need to be done as part of a business, right? Getting the help that I need. So, encourage you here that this is super important. And if you take my advice and what I've applied to myself, I promise you, you're going to be better off for it. Reach out to me. Let's have a conversation if you need some help in this. And if you want to say, hey, David, I'd love to be a part of a group, because I don't have anybody, or the people I have just don't see it this way. They don't have the same desire that I do. Well, there is a place for you here with me, David Carr of Steward Your Business. And that's why I put the podcast out week after week for you, the listener, to know that there's a place and a home for you to come to, and a community to be a part of. Um, Share this, like this, leave a review. It's all appreciated. And I look forward to having you guys come back next week on our next episode of the Intelligent Human Leadership Podcast. Until then, take care. Work on that final return and report. Let's get it in and be better off for it. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Take care.